parents, you want to give the children like a role model, someone to look up to, but trust me, it's not working. It's the other way around. What does it do? It rather make the children very, very depressed. If you really have a conversation with them, you get to know, because what you do is you take your own child out of the picture and you're always referring to Shasabo school. It doesn't work that way. And what we can do as parents to help them is, let's try to identify their own strengths and weaknesses. So it's your child versus your child. So you are not looking at someone else. So you should know your child well, and you should know how he or she is doing. So you know, this is the weakness of my child, this is the strength of my child, so how can I build up on it? And even it's not easy, because sometimes even we the adults, it affects us, and you can imagine a child's psyche or mentality which has not yet developed. How are they going to take this? Because I spoke to a friend, she's a female, and we were talking about a wedding, and she said, I don't even go to weddings anymore. So I asked, like, what's the reason? And she said, okay, whenever I go to the wedding, every adult that meets me is, when are you getting married? You mean it well. Point of question, you mean it well, you are concerned. But the question is a bit tricky. So it's also a way of comparing, like, look at your mates, they are getting married, so when are you getting married? So the comparison doesn't help when it gets to the teenage age. So I think we should try and limit it a bit. You can refer them to something they have to look up to, but comparing your children to someone else's children is something that is really ridiculous, because you don't even know what that child's parents is also facing. You don't know if they have it all figured out. But we assume, okay, because it's up there, everything is all right, and we keep on referring to that person. While it depresses them. So that is one thing we shouldn't do. And and to the parents, so whilst the teenagers enter that stage of life, there is a theory for them. Every teenager thinks his or her brain is fully developed, but in reality it's not the case. So as a parent, God has given you like that responsibility to bring up the children up in the right way. So whenever I see like the parents bringing the children to church, like, it's something that really makes me happy, because it's a step in the right direction. And with the teenagers, it's something they don't really like, but as a parent, whether I like it or not, you have to have like control over them. We always have a comparison. We use it in education. We always say, are you giving them painkillers or are you offering them surgery? So a painkiller is, your child will get angry when you say, okay, don't stay on the streets till like, even an example, 11 p.m. But some parents, they fear that confrontation that will come up with the child. So in your mind, you are trying to please your child. So okay, I will allow it, but you have to have rules as a parent. And I don't know if allowing a 15-year-old to stay out to 11 p.m. is beneficial. So it's having control is the best way forward, and we can't allow. So if we have it like this way, so allowing the child to stay out to 11 p.m. to make him or her happy is giving a painkiller. As a parent, I know it will come back to hurt you when you give the child that kind of upbringing. And I always give this example to Ghanaian parents. As long as you're Ghanaian, the youth, if you become very successful, even the women in your neighborhood, hey, share your money new. But if God doesn't help you, and maybe it turns out the other way around, they know who your mother is. Manu anybody you. Yes, that's how it works. So sorry.
Kan je alsjeblieft dat stokje vertalen, Leva? Heet dat?
Okay. Dus aan de jeugd hier, dus als je gewoon slaagt in het leven, ben je gewoon een lieveling van iedereen, weet je. Opeens kent iedereen jou en mocht het niet lukken, kennen ze opeens jouw gezin. Oké, jij komt hier vandaan en weet je, je hebt gewoon ja, een verbintenis. Maar als je gewoon erin slaagt, opeens ben je gewild door iedereen. En zo werkt het eenmaal, toch? Ja, wanneer ja, oh, wanneer opeens, oh ja. Oh, yeah, Banyo. We cry now, OG 5 years. My son is because that's how it works. That's how it works. Yes. But so the parents, it's a wake up call to us. So if that's what we want, so and I always tell the teenagers and the parents is when they enter that stage, it's like whether you like it or not, it's a battle you have to go through. And during normal battles, there is also a winner and a loser. But this kind of battles, we have two winners, and it's either two winners or two losers. So the first situation is either you win with your parents or you lose with your parents. Apart from teaching, I also do exam training. So in the morning today, I was at Horn, so I had to drive like 40 minutes to there, and we start at 10 a.m. because they know themselves. Jullie hebben mij vakantie toch? And after the holidays that we happened, central exams, so we had to help them. And normally I start at 10 a.m. so I really go early to have certain things done and to call people and make them aware it's 10 a.m. so I come in. So it's not easy for the parents. It's very expensive, and it's a 2-day training. It's today and tomorrow, and per child, the parents have to pay 400 euros. And I was very mad at one of the students because he didn't show up. And the contract we actually signed with them is it's a 2-day thing. So if you don't show up on the Saturday, you can't join in on Sunday. So I was interested and I wanted to find out where he was at that moment or what he was doing that he couldn't come. So I called the house telephone and it was the mother who picked up, and she said, "Oh, the child is sleeping." So I was a bit worried, and I was like, "Are you aware that you have already paid 400 euros for him to be here this weekend?" Yeah, she was quite sorry, but it was a bit late, and the boy in picture was also blaming the mother for not waking him up. So it's a very interesting situation. But in my head, I was like, if the upbringing went a bit right, you should know you have to train him in a way that he becomes responsible. So that's why I'm saying it's a two-way thing, and this is a battle whereby the parent and the child is losing, because first of all, money gone, 400 euros. We know how this economy has become, and 400 euros going to the garbage is not easy. And second, of course, this child is someone who we have already indicated, like it will be very, very difficult for him to pass his exam. So this was the only way to give him some kind of hope and training, and he escaped it. So we have two losers in this case. That's the parent and the child. So my wake up call to the parents is we have to be in control. I know they can be worrisome sometimes, but the actual thing is they think their brain is developed, but it's not fully developed. So sometimes you have to have that battle with them. You have to be a bit controlling when the moment requires you to be. And I was a bit disappointed in the parent, because this was a moment that required the parent to be, to be in control of the situation. At least I was expecting the parents, even though you trust your child to wake up, at least it's 10 a.m. I expected the parent to be maybe up by then and ensure you trust your child, but you should ensure, is he awake? Is he getting prepared? So it was something that really saddened me a lot because it's quite a disappointment. So the parents and the youth in this era, there's a lot of work to do, and the thing is, if we don't really come together, it will be difficult for us, because at the end of the day, we will have two losers, and that is something that you don't want. And I understand as a parent, the youth should understand it's a very difficult task because parenting is not easy. It's like you are doing something you don't even know. They are trying. It's like try and error. So there's no expertise for that. So it's just like I'm doing the best for you and to see if it works. But sometimes there's a bit of clash, confusion. So we have to really be aware of that. And the thing is, my fellow youth, if you are young, it seems like they are worrying you. I've been there before. I've had moments where I said like, I'm happy, but that's it. While you grow up, it's like a movie. It's very wonderful. The things they say, it occurs to you like one by one by one. So I think we have to take notes before it's too late. I remember during my early ages, you'd be at home. I was the type I can put on the lights in the living room, upstairs, everywhere, and they'll be shouting, "Oh, Bomiko, Bomiko!" I was like, "Oh, so." But like, yeah, years on, you get your own house. Maggie knows it. She will leave one light. I was like, hey. So I really think our parents, hey, why are you? Because it's not really easy to. So we should try to understand them. Why they also try to understand us is very important. So the things they say, I would admit, is very true, but you won't realize them now. I can go on and talk. You won't realize them now. You would think they are worrying you, but maybe I would say maybe 6 years to come, you start realizing, okay, this is what my mother was telling me, but so you are lucky to have me telling you. So we should. It's something we should be working with, and we shouldn't wait until it's late. And even the Bible, the Bible even says that when you read Ephesians 6 chapter 1. It talks about honoring your parents, and it's not just a Bible verse. Trust me, I'm yet to meet someone who has, defied the authority of the parents and has been successful. You need them. And trust me, there are some blessings even a pastor cannot give you unless your parents. Yeah. So we should be really. We should be really be careful with how we treat our parents in the same way, while they also try to care for us. Because what I see is the youth think, I know sometimes it's really sad the way they treat their parents. I know they're very worrisome, but we also have to balance it a bit, because it's not their fault. Because I used to always think about this topic, but once I'm growing up, you can't give something you don't have. And they were brought up a very strict way, and automatically they will bring you up that way. So you should bear with them a bit. It's something they are also learning. And in the Western world here in Europe, it's bringing up a child, we know how it goes. You guys know all the rights you have, and the parents are also trying their best. Sometimes it's a normal reflex. They act really strict because they think if they don't stand on their toes, it might go the other way around, and you will picture it as they are worrying you. So it's a balance between understanding them and them also attending to your needs. And as a teacher, I would say behavior is very important. You can pray about God favoring you, but I think it's very important as a youth to also set yourself up for favor. You can pray for favor, but if you don't work on your behavior, the favor won't locate you. So we should be mindful of how we do things, and by the grace of God, I know I see the youth here. Many of them are on the right path, and this is all due to the hard work of the parents. And every Sunday when I come here, I look around and see they are also really consistent, and I think this is the right way to go about it, because I think it was 2 weeks ago when our uncle Mike said, Youth Week is coming. Don't leave them. Remind them. That's the nature of children. You may think they are doing it on purpose, but sometimes they need you to be that hard on them. You should remember them. They will forget. So love is also a form of keeping your eyes on your children. I always tell the youth is, I don't think your mom loves you when she doesn't complain. It's very serious when your mom or dad, you do anything and he's just sitting there watching you. That you should know there's something wrong somewhere. There's something wrong somewhere when that occurs. So we should take it in good faith, and we should know it's a form of love. I'm an adult myself, but sometimes I'm called to order by my parents, and even when I'm on vacation, if it's 12 in the midnight, my phone will vibrate, and without even looking, I know it's my mom. She's gonna ask, "Where are you?" And so it's something. I think it's something that will stay with them. So we should get used to it. It's not about them worrying you the way you think about it, but it's also their form of showing concern and love. So when you guys don't understand it, there will always be confusion at home. So it's something, and to our fellow parents, the Ghanaian way of upbringing, we don't normally, have open conversation with children. You just say it. This is how it should be. If a question pops up, me say, "See, go on into." It's worrying. I know that method used to work maybe in your era, maybe years ago, but times have changed, and trust me, the youth here are very very wise, and you can reason with them. So when taking certain decisions, I think it's very nice to consider them, ask them what they think, and don't leave them out. That way they feel okay, my father trusts me, he's giving me that responsibility. So we shouldn't just neglect them. We should have open conversations with them and try and involve them in everything we do. And trust me, this teenage era is something. It feels like it keeps long, but dear parents, dear youth, when you do it right, it's more than necessary. You have to do it, because as a parent, if you don't help the youth or your child to grow up the right way, we have a saying: you end up catering for a child 2 times, because if the upbringing is not right, that person can never be independent, and he'll go and come back to you, and you have to keep on guiding them. So it's something to really take care of, and keep in mind that as they enter this, I see it's a very very critical stage of their life. That's the make or break. So I see it as, when they enter the stage, if everything will go on well, it's this stage, and if the life will crash is also at this stage. So my humble plea to the parents to let's look out for them while they also try to understand us, because it's not easy, and we should have in mind that we know the struggles you guys are facing, but it's not easy. It's what we're talking about it. So we should acquire the culture of talking to our mental health. We don't take that serious, Ghanaian parents. We should normally talk to our children, try to know what's bothering them, and they have a lot in mind, but it's our approach. The way if a father is always angry, always screaming, I don't think any youth will open up to that person. So sometimes we need to check ourselves and see if we are being like that perfect person for the for the children.
Somebody have a question.
Oh yeah.
That question can never escape.
Okay.
So sometimes something that we have dive.
Okay. I think I will give the parents and the youth to ask questions at the right moment. Okay.
People have a lot of questions in their mind.
Okay, I'm interested. I'll give the opportunity to them. So it's no worries. So as Pastor said, a lot of people will have questions to ask, but I think maybe this is the right opportunity to give people the chance to ask questions. So at this moment, what I've said, are there any pending questions you guys want to ask? Or the parents, Auntie Maud, do you have something to ask?
I was asking them if they have a question. Hebben jullie allemaal begrepen wat meneer Siisi heeft ons verteld? Hebben jullie een vraag?
They are my target group. I work with them. I know this is a topic which is sensitive to them. They normally try to swerve it a bit, but we can't always, sit down and say this is sensitive, so we will not talk about it. It's something we need to approach. Yes, Pastor.
But he said something, and not just they gave you a course. Like maybe implementing our culture.
Yeah.
And then they were so happy. Giving a course. So when you are teaching, you also say something. You shouldn't leave them like maybe to do their own thing.
Yeah, sure.
And properly be separated, because if you don't maybe let them know certain things, the way you were brought up,
Yeah.
how you were trained, and so many things about this.
Sure.
Sometimes it's not all that comfortable. That maybe the way that you have dressed, please, if you can maybe do it in this way, and automatically
Yeah.
becomes angry because their friends are having the same kind of
Sure.
dress code. So what can you differentiate about? What can you say more? Dive deep.
Okay.
Because I want my child maybe to behave, to dress, to move, to do in this way. But this generation is telling them to do it in a different way.
Okay, I really understand your question. Thank you for your question, Pastor. So, what I noticed in many Ghanaian households is they, with regards to the dressing you spoke about, so it can be anything. We normally tell the youth, don't do this. So it's like prohibited. But I think maybe the way we can go about it is, rather than just telling them not to do this, we have to have an open conversation about when you do this, these are the implications. But a lot of parents forget that part. So they focus more on the statement, don't do this, and what the implications are. It's a very good way, but not everything that they do will benefit them. So with regard to our culture, there are some things we shouldn't forget. Myself, for example, I'm also an advocate for a little bit of strict upbringing, because I believe you have to be loving, but at the same time you also have to be very firm. So it's a step in the right direction. So it's allowed, but it depends on the way we bring it up. Yes. And are there any questions? Yeah, Anthony.
To say that now sometimes the way now you know more kasa no the manier say to say kasa maybe atade we no menhye ebi a ewo kwan a wo de befa so a wo ne omo beka na wo sa ka bibi so se aya ese omo wo ho no omo nimnema bebre ntino se what we do by youth no omo ni bibia no obia e de na dwene ba it's not something that I say yes it's say we say the time me straight kaka emao
chaka no wo say
emao bibi say na say wo mpesa no bia waje ato ho kra da afi na wo say time ne ba be so na afi na wo ka say wontimi nya dia na ho na ma yes straight nti no very important sometimes no when you sit down with them utmu say enyama bebre wo so wo betima ahua firi omo say dia make me I am who say omo ye youth before omo say it's like me no omo nyina because Jesus Christ for him to win as or conform MI nti no tambia na sisi azu ye conform e form make no enchire say oya ade amenka to say na o kano we should be straight on them sometimes and last year me call onkola no mom say 3 hook express I was school no yeah never did was 3 hook express section
yeah okay I report meeting but once is
okay na omo ka say to say they o kan youth no me catch omo to omo ni there omo fi say omo adwene no I develop we but according to omo ma obi a oye fence oye specialist oye study ayi oba o see as I say omo entity even at the age up to 25 years and above but omo the officer manyina we dem minim bibia ba that is whereby enyema bi ho ya encourage omo a na wo kan say ebekoyi from this age no say ankoyi nso a if this age because me ka say na me apply the knowledge bi ho oye young who says so na for no excuse me to say omo ye we I say ya omo won tem she was young and now okwo twins so as I say ofri fie no because ono kwa akwatina no ho no onya sa parental advice ni nyama binti no o ka kira me okobo obosia wo bank and didn't call nyama bebre mu okoto chese fie nyama bia wo fi senka ehia senka that time obeto but imagine say senka onya obi maame na o say otenetene no anade bo ho oye no o kan anka bia ankosa nti no de meka ni say ye hunu say de yesi ni omo ekasa ade bo ha sometimes ebi kwa na omo ba ya we say no ebi wo baba no ye bisa we you need to share ideas with them. It shouldn't always be said I say me say tenase no on tenase munu de atia e bi a on tenase so no yeah sana meka amen.
Okay, that's the answer. So what you are talking about is something I can recognize because even at work we have like very experienced colleagues who we have a 4th-year FABO class and we have like students who are very terrible. So most teachers really complain, when I have this class, I'm not looking forward to it. It's very I'm not even 1% strict, but whenever they come, I just tell them, please do this. They do it. So what it teaches me is sometimes it's not always, we have to keep that balance. It's not always your authority. It's sometimes the way you relate to them, which will make you achieve your goal. So that's a difficult part of parenting, especially in this era. So it's kind of finding the balance. So sometimes parents do things which they think it's in our best interest. They always have in mind what they are doing should benefit us, but sometimes it goes the other way around. I would say force is not always required. Sometimes it's just a little conversation, and that will take like many things away. So it's very difficult, but we have to try and balance both. So I believe you have to be strict when you have to be, and there's also moments when you have to, use conversation. So it's a difficult balance, but it's something that should be maintained. Are there any questions? Okay, and to the youth, I would say I've been, I think for the past 4 years I've been working in the educational sector, and I would like to emphasize on how critical the behavior is to the teachers. So I think I already spoke about the favor part. You pray for favor, but you should always also try to set yourself up for the favor. So we the teachers, when they go to the meetings, like the things they say, it's like to be honest, I think we as people, I believe everyone has his or her own bias. It's human nature. As much as we would like to say, I am very honest, I treat everyone the same, you would like to, but it's human nature. You would be a bit biased, and what I noticed in my career is I have no control over it, but like I'm always willing to help like the students who are like also willing to cooperate, like with good behavior. So I would say, yeah, as much as we are influenced by peers, I think we should also try to reason for ourselves. You should, as I said, you should, when doing something, you should always think about the painkiller or the surgery part. So when you're doing something, you should always think, am I taking a painkiller now? A painkiller, you will have troubles later. Or am I having a surgery? Uncle.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I just asked the youth teacher about the theme of the program, because in my opinion, I think it should have been parental on one side and the youth on one side. It's like you are exposing our weakness in presence of the. Sometimes if you don't take time, they will use it as a weapon against us or as a defense. No, I'm not finished. Just a joke. Yeah, just crap it. My real question is, because sometimes it's like you are giving them a defense. You are giving them a defense. So, in my opinion, I think maybe the parental tutorials should have been different, with parent only and the youth only. We can sit in the youth to listen. Just get by the way. Okay. My question is, sometimes you approach the youth, you talk to him, you find out the consequence of what he's doing to him or her. They will not listen. In this situation, must you continue or stop?
I think as a parent, there's no way you should stop talking to your child. It's God's duty. You have to continue. Maybe one day he or she will see the light, but if you stop, it's like you have given up. That's something you shouldn't have. So you should continue. If it doesn't work out, at least God knows you tried your best, but stopping is not an option. It's like as a teacher, you have terrible people, but you also have to deal with them. I can't say, okay, today you are not entering my class. I have to accommodate them. So there's no way we can stop. It's something that we have to continue doing. So if it works out well, thank God. If it also doesn't come out really well, at least God knows you tried your best. Yes. And coming to your point of revealing the weaknesses of parents, Uncle, trust me, the youth you see them, I work with children and I talk to them about, they are smarter than you think. And don't think I really admire them. They even come up with things you as an adult you would sit down and say, oh, why didn't I even think about this? So I think it's time we should try to involve them in certain things that we do. when they are infants, it's a different ball game altogether. But once they get to like this teenage stage, I think there should be an open conversation. There are a lot of things they know, so it's not. It's not about a matter of weakness. It's a matter of being actually real with them. So, as every person has a weakness, and when I go to work, I'm really honest with them. I tell them what I struggle with. So it's you can see the other way around. They have respect for you, and when your child loves you, he will never use your weakness against you. Trust me. Yes. So it's a matter of talking about your weakness to them. It doesn't spoil anything. Yes. And okay. So as I said, we also use your behavior in determining many other factors. So I've witnessed students who come in with half advies en door hun gedrag moeten ze dan afstromen. And that is something you don't really need to have, because some youth are very, when it comes to the books, extraordinary. But many of them come from good background, good homes, but unfortunately they come to school, they meet the wrong people, and the situation changes. So in reality, you are very smart, but coming to the classroom, your behavior does not help. So what do? They try to bring you a bit down, which shouldn't be necessary. And I know maybe it doesn't sound right, but it's something that happens. So in order to have a good control of it, I know what I tell my mentor kid is, the lesson is only sometimes 50 minutes. Just even if you think what the person is saying doesn't make sense, just be quiet for him. 50 minutes, it's over. You go your way, and many of them understand it. I tell them, such as life, you don't always have things that excite you. So, just try and listen. So the behavior part is my humble plea. Many of them, the parents, I will expose them to you as well. Many of them have double lives. So at home, it's something that happens over there. At home, they are really sweet, they do everything, but once there's no supervision, different behavior takes place. And I don't really blame them. It's something that also happened in the teenage era. So it really takes strong kids to know that, okay, although my mother doesn't see what I'm doing, I should also do the right thing. So it's something that happens. So we should. That's why I said this era requires you talking to. So the distance shouldn't be very big. We should rather be close to them, and because a lot is really happening between the ages of, I would say, 12 to 18. So it's like most of them even have identity crisis, and they are trying to discover who they are. So in order to discover who they are, they will be engaged in a lot of things, and it would take parents who have been there before, so with all the experience, to tell them, okay, this will help you, this will help you. So the stage where they are, I know it's really difficult. While you want to be close to them, they also push you a bit away, but you have to be there. It's identity crisis, I call it that way. They don't. Most of them, it's not all of them. Most of them are trying to figure out who they are, what they want to be, and in the process of doing that, they try out different things. So it's up to the parent to get close to them and talk to them. That also helps. So whichever way we want it, we have to work together to achieve what we want.